Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John. Today I have a new album review by the band Ghost called IMPERA, released on March 11th, 2022. This is their fifth studio album. So I will be talking about how I got into the band. I'll give you a little background on the album. Then I'll talk about the songs, and then I'll give my final thoughts and score. So to be honest, I never really gave this band a chance when it came out, but I did watch like some other of those channels speak, very highly of the band. So one of them was like Robert's on my turntable. He speaks a lot, very highly of this band. And then I actually got the previous album on vinyl called Prequel. And actually one day my wife was shopping and she brought this home for me. So before I didn't really listen to Ghost, but she bought it for me, so let me just check it out. So I did give it a few spins, and I did, start to appreciate the band. It was like this was the kind of band that, when I first saw them, I didn't really like them. I thought they were some kind of like black metal band or something along the lines of like Merciful Fate or King Diamond. But after like listening to their songs, I felt like the sound didn't really match their image, and for that reason, I didn't really give them a chance. But, when you do, like, listen to them, you learn to appreciate them. You got to, like, appreciate them for what they are. They are kind of more of, like, a 70s style hard rock band, maybe comparable to something like Blue Oyster Cult. But with this new album, they did kind of, update their sound a little bit. And I'll talk about that as I go along more in detail. But the album is called IMPERA, and it is about the rise and fall of empires. So it's an idea that Tobias Forge got after reading a book back in 2013. So the album was originally slated to be released in 2020, but of course, got delayed because of the pandemic. And they also wanted to wait for the US presidential election to be over. But then they released their first single, Hunter's Moon, that came out in September 2021. And that was on the soundtrack to the Halloween Kills movie. Then they released two more singles prior to the release of the album. So anyway, the album has 12 songs. Now the sound is kind of like that 70s hard rock, but I think they do update it a little bit, going into more of like an 80s like hair metal style. But I'll talk about that as I go through the songs. So let me talk about them now. First song, Imperium, short instrumental, has clean guitars, a melodic lead guitar melody. So the band comes in about halfway through, and this kind of serves as the slow building intro to the next song, which is called Kaisarion. And this one has like an arena rock style, like scream in the intro, kind of sounds a little different. Then some melodic riffs, kind of sounds like a little like hair metal. But this has that classic Ghost sound with the hard rock guitars and the keyboards. But like I said, it does go into more that 80s hair metal type of sound. As the song progresses, it does go into like a progressive rock territory, something similar to like the band Rush. I like that part a lot. Then it's followed up with some like eerie sounding like keyboards and like some rhythm guitars. After that is Spillways, and this one has a sound of like, the thing that I thought of was like a Rocky montage when he's like, like getting ready for a fight. That was my first impression of it. But lyrically, it continues the same theme of like the fall of empires. It does have that piano sound. It reminds me a lot of like Journey. I'm thinking of maybe like the song like Separate Ways. I think that's a song that came to mind. Has that arena rock sound, but very catchy and memorable song. Then is Call Me Little Sunshine. This is a cool song. It has like an acoustic guitar riff with like this slight southern rock feel. Then this riff is played on electric guitars. It does have a fairly slow pace, giving the song like a kind of like a slightly haunting feel, almost like a doomy type of feel. But it does have some power chords in the chorus, does make it very catchy. Actually, this kind of reminds me a little of something like an Alice Cooper type of song, but maybe something from those like mid-80s albums of Alice Cooper. Next is Hunter's Moon, and this was the one that appeared in the Halloween movie. And it does have that sound. It's like a typical like 80s hard rock song that would appear in like during the credits of a slasher movie, but like an 80s like slasher movie. I'm also thinking of something like Alice Cooper's like He's Back, the Man Behind the Mask, like that type of sound maybe. Has the hard rock guitars and the keyboards. Does have a cool breakdown, has some like deep string bands and a melodic guitar solo. Next is Watcher in the Sky. So at this point in the album, they start to get like a little heavier. On this one, the pace is a little faster, the riffs are a little harder. The opening riff has some of those like galloping guitars and like an overall like heavier tone. It does have some of that like machine gun riffing and does make it more of like a memorable song. It does kind of stand out. Next is Dominion, and this is the second of the 3 short instrumentals on the album. This one has a slow keyboard-driven classical music sound, kind of like a movie score. You know, preparing the next song, which is called Twenties. This was one of the singles, and it starts with like a symphonic metal like type of sound, but then it goes into probably like their heaviest riff like from any of their albums, something like maybe like a Slayer style like thrash metal riff. You know, that's something we don't really hear with Ghost, but it is a catchy song. It has these eerie like backing vocals, and the verse is almost like I don't know. I thought of like rap metal, but maybe something similar to that. It is like a different kind of song, but it is very memorable. It's a very unique sounding song. Next is Darkness at the Heart of My Love, and this one has some clean guitars playing those like arpeggios, and this is more like a softer ballad type of song. But it does have a very like radio-friendly pop sound, but at the same time it does retain that like classic rock feel. It has, you know, a slight hair metal sound at some points with some of the guitar tones. I'm thinking of a band like Def Leppard on this one. That goes into Griftwood, and it continues with that 80s hair metal sound, has the power chords, those flashy guitar fills. It's a catchy song with a memorable chorus. I do like the breakdown in the song, has a keyboard and guitar feel like arena rock sound. Continues with a shredding guitar solo. Next is Bite of Passage, and the third and final instrumental. It's a short 32-second song, but slow and eerie, and does kind of set up for the next song on the album, which is called Respite of the Spitalfields. And it's the longest song, 6 minutes 43 seconds, which is not that long. But it is a slower song, more of like an atmospheric sound, has the clean guitars playing the rhythm. After about a minute, like it picks up the pace with some like harder guitar riffs. The chorus is catchy, has some power chords, and there's like a melodic guitar solo. And yeah, it has the type of solo like something like from those like 80s power ballads. Then it goes into a breakdown, and it reminds me a lot of like Still the Night by Whitesnake, that type of like sound. And the guitar ends with some drum fills and keyboards. It goes into like an extended instrumental section and kind of closing out the album. So in conclusion, I definitely like this. I'd actually listened to this album like 4 complete times before preparing this video. And because of that, the songs were very memorable. So every song does have its like unique sound and like the album does have a nice flow to it. You can listen to this album like front to back, and you know, you can also enjoy the songs on their own. They did experiment a little, moving into more of like an 80s hard rock sound, but the production is very good. You hear all the instruments very well. So on my first listen, I probably wasn't that impressed, but after the second and third listen, I really started to appreciate this album. I actually might like it better than Prequel. You know, I didn't buy this one yet on vinyl. I probably will because I like it a lot. So I'll give this a 9 out of 10. I'll probably be listening to a lot more, and let me know in the comments what you thought. So up next, I will be doing a new album by Love Hate, and then I have some anniversary reviews. I have Jethro Tull's Thick as a Brick, the debut album by Body Count, and maybe a few more next week. So please remember, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.